At this point in the evening, I'd like to begin the Hall of Fame presentation, then we'll go to the underclassmen awards ceremony. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce a few key people who are with us this evening. We have Mr. Richard J. Phelps, the Vice Chairman of the School Committee. We have Dr. Alan Cron, Superintendent of Schools. We have Ms. Colleen Ferlizzi, the Assistant Superintendent. We have Mr. A. Scott McKinley, the retired principal of Rockland High School. We have Mr. Joe Weisgerber, retired Director of Guidance. And Mr. Robert Niffen, the retired Music Department Chair. I want to thank our great faculty, including our department heads, for being here tonight. They'll be presenting a little bit later, so we welcome them. And Dr. Alan H. Cron, our Superintendent of Schools, is here tonight to say a few words, so we'll have him come up and speak.
So I have a middle name, it's Henry, and the letter H has become some sort of an issue. I don't know, so it's Dr. Alan H., which I think is hilarious, but I want to welcome everyone here tonight. This is a very, very special event. We are, as a public school district, our core mission is the intellectual growth of our students and the academic pursuits. When I say academic, I mean music and art and drama and everything else along with math and science. But I think what we're here to celebrate more than anything tonight is effort, the effort of your students, because there are many, many talented people in the world, but if you put talent together with no effort, you get nothing. So the students who are being recognized this evening are not only talented, but they've put in the work to develop their talents, and I think that's what we're here to recognize tonight. So congratulations, and have a great night. Thank you.
At this point, Ms. Paulding, the Assistant Principal, will come and present the Academic Hall of Fame inductions.
I guess I'm supposed to point out my middle initial is A. That makes Dr. Alan H. happy. So in Rockland, we started the Academic and Athletic Hall of Fames in 1988 as a way to honor past graduates. The Academic Hall of Fame inductees would have to meet the following criteria: having achieved recognition, honors through their professional, business, industrial, or personal accomplishments, having contributed significantly to the betterment of their fellow man, have given themselves to improve the quality of life for others, have been highly successful in educational endeavors both in high school and beyond. I am pleased that we are here to celebrate 3 inductees that meet or exceed these standards and continue to make us Bulldog proud. In 19 and she was active throughout high school in several groups, including student government, academic council, and the Veritas. Foreshadowing her career in public relations and marketing, she was active at WRPS Radio and TV and served as the News and Public Affairs Director for the station as a senior in high school. After high school, Robin attended Bridgewater State College, where she majored in English literature and graduated with a Bachelor's of Arts degree. After graduating, Robin remained in Rockland and became a director of public relations and marketing for the Associated Newspapers. As she advanced her career in marketing and public relations, she created and implemented marketing and external communication strategies for global corporations in engineering, construction, and technology industries. In these endeavors, Robin had always had one goal, and that was to create a bridge between business and community, particularly providing educational opportunities for the youth of the community. Her career path has taken her from Boston to Birmingham, Alabama, to Tampa, Florida. In Birmingham, she directed a construction camp for girls, which was hosted by a global engineering and construction firm whose headquarters were in Birmingham. The program was transformative for teenage girls in rural communities in Alabama who were given the opportunity to learn electrical, carpentry, and welding skills. Also in Alabama, Robin created Project I-Beam, another engineering and construction challenge that paired students with industry professionals in order to design large-size art installations as part of a Magic City Festival. Hundreds of urban high school students were exposed to careers and mentors through this program. Since 2009, Robin has been vice president of the Pinellas Education Foundation in Tampa, Florida, where she is responsible for business partner engagement, marketing, events, and revenue generation. Pinellas County is a 280 square mile peninsula on the west coast of Florida that stretches from Clearwater Beach to St. Petersburg. At the foundation, she is responsible for raising between $2 and $3 million annually. The funds are invested in programs that improve public education, including a free enterprise learning experience that hosts 10 to 13,000 fifth grade students each year. Another program supported by her work is a financial literacy program that serves 8 to 10,000 eighth graders annually. A signature program of the foundation is the Take Stock in Children scholarships. And in that program, scholarships are awarded to at-risk students in middle school. These life-changing programs for students in Florida who qualify for free and reduced lunch. They are considered at high risk because fewer than 50% of them graduate from high school. However, Take Stock in Children, the children who receive those scholarships overcome these odds and have a graduation rate of 97%. Upon graduation, these students are awarded scholarships to cover full tuition to any state or college university in Florida. This program has broken the cycle of poverty for over 3,500 students in Pinellas County. In 2015, Robin also accepted responsibility for leading the Ford Next Generation Learning Innovation Center, a national framework created by Ford Motor Company that prepares young people for college, careers, lifelong learning, and leadership, and promotes educational equality and justice for all. Robin's career and the important work she has done combined her exceptional skills and expertise in marketing and management with a passion to better the lives of young people. This passion was no doubt fostered by her family's longtime commitment to serve and educate the youth of Rockland. Robin Paulding McGowan, for all your accomplishments, past, present, and future, we are proud and honored to induct you into the Rockland High School Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm much shorter than my baby sister. So as Kathy was talking, I was wondering if I should just tell you all the truth, that at one point I wanted to be a teacher. And I went into a classroom here, actually at Memorial Park School, as a substitute teacher for a couple of weeks during a college break. And I learned very quickly that I did not have the gift to be a classroom teacher. But I do have a very authentic passion for education, and have been able to find a way to serve that without being a teacher. And I'm really proud of the work that our foundation does in Pinellas County. I'm really humbled and really honored very much by the recognition tonight, and to be in the company of students who have accomplished so much as well. As I scanned the list of the other inductees, I was really just in awe of some of the names there, and I do have to give a shout out and say, yay, class of '79, because we're in there a few times. It was an amazing group. I'd like to thank my family very much for their support and for being here tonight to support me again. High school was not the best time of life for me. I was really very shy, incredibly awkward, and immature, frankly, for my age. It was pretty overwhelming. And I just escaped into books all the time. And so I could pass tests and do okay in class, but the thing that really, really opened up life for me was WRPS, the radio station. And when I was there back in '79, so let me see, we had just stopped painting images on the walls of caves, and cable wasn't in town yet. But the radio station was just a 50 megawatt radio station. And Steve Budkowitz auditioned me for the station. And at the time, you couldn't, as an underclassman, as a freshman, you weren't even eligible to audition for the station. And he handed me a penny and told me I had to talk about it for 60 seconds. And in my family, that's a pretty big joke because they say that that's the day I started talking and I never stopped. So I think all of us have favorite teachers, and there were other teachers that really made such an incredible impact on my life, and I think of them often. Mike Cahill and his sister Carol is here today. And Mike Cahill was a teacher at the radio station for a period of time as well, and he gave me one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever received, because again, I'm inherently very shy. So he said, as I was doing the rip and read assignments on the news at the radio station one day, and I had no confidence for the pronunciation, he said, just deliver it like you know it's right, and the audience is going to believe you. That doesn't sound like, great wisdom, but I have to tell you, every job interview, and at so many points in my life, that reminder to have faith and have confidence in what you're doing has been something I've visited time and time again. I hope you let Michael know I gave him a shout out. Donna Rossetti Bailey, Diane Carcati, just incredibly gifted art instructors at the school. And in my PR and marketing career, I've leveraged both of those language skills and those art skills that I was exposed to in high school here. I do want to solve a real issue that I notice is I want to clarify something here for the entire town of Rockland. When I was in college, I actually worked full-time and was working as a reporter, and then I supplemented that by working at Themis Pizza. So I worked at Themis Pizza with my dear friend and classmate Denise Wallace, and we tossed pizza there for Elias Themistocleus, who was the original owner of Themis Pizza. So that is a soft E. I want to stop the controversy now. Not a hard E, Themis at all. I don't know where that came from. So while I am really in awe of the accomplishments of students here today, somebody suggested that we should try to give some encouragement and some advice to you all. And I feel a little silly trying to do that, but let me just offer this. I think you should always ask, what am I doing here? And it's okay to ask, what are you doing here listening to me right now, too? You can include that. But if you're in the classroom, why are you there? Are you just absorbing, or are you actively contributing? And you are so lucky to have the quality public education that is available here in Rockland. Please make sure you explore, and I do mean exploit, every opportunity. This is the best time of life to try what you don't think you can succeed at and fail, because those are the best lessons possible. And as you advance in life and in your career, ask if you're making a difference. You don't have to know the answer immediately, but it's important to keep asking the question. And make sure that what you spend your time doing is important to you. I work to improve public education. I believe that we have a moral obligation to support a high-quality public education. I mean public education in the traditional sense. And I mean that as a high-quality deliverable at every neighborhood school, and equal access to quality education. What I see a lot of in other states across the country is shenanigans with vouchers and systems where only those in the know can get the best opportunity for their children. I grew up in Rockland, where it's understood you have an obligation to give back. That if you achieve great success and are in the position to do so, you help to lift up others in need. We cannot expect to sustain democracy or our economy unless we invest in public education. And frankly, it's under attack. It has been. Today, most states provide less support per student for elementary and secondary schools than before the Great Depression of 2008. Congratulations, however. You live in Massachusetts, where when adjustments are made for inflation, we've had an actual 2.3% increase in funding for education. A little bit better than the 31 states nationally that have reduced funding by 10%. So I want to ask each of you today to be an advocate and champion for public education. You don't have to be a classroom teacher or administrator to make a difference. Taxpayers, parents, and students, and even tech startup millionaires can all be advocates for public education. The parents who are here tonight, who are business leaders, you have a tremendous opportunity to share your knowledge with teachers and administrators to ensure that the classrooms of today are relevant and truly preparing students for the future. I would also ask all of the adults in this room to shift your measure of success for the students. Success is achieved when students are prepared for life after high school. An admission to a prestigious college or university is a great achievement. I don't deny that it's worth celebrating. But to prepare students for life after high school now, it's important to note that 60% of all jobs require technical skills or industry certifications. 33% of jobs will require a 4-year degree, and 10% will be available for others. Failing to ensure that we invest in a quality education with an emphasis on relevant life skills will mean that we are sentencing students to a life of poverty. There is no more important call than the cry to advocate for public education, and I hope you'll join me in that fight. Thank you.
Thank you. Denise Wallace Spriggs graduated from Rockland High School in 1979. In addition to her work as a college-bound student, Denise Wallace's main interests were music and drama. She took chorus as a class for 4 years. She was also a member of the choraleers and the drama club. As she says, my most significant activity in high school was the time I spent in the drama club. It ate up most of my time, in a good way. She participated in dramatic productions and musicals at Rockland High School from her freshman year on, including, among others, Once Upon a Mattress, Our Town, Carousel, The Diary of Anne Frank, and Oliver. She credits her drama and music teachers, Bob Niffen and Bob Dolan, for their encouragement and for their work ethic that they taught her. After high school, Denise went to UNH for 2 years where she studied textiles and home economics, along with early childhood education. She then took a year off to figure out what she wanted to do with her life. She worked at Famous Pizza during that time and decided her career would not be in making pizza. Denise went back to Bridgewater State College, where she attained her Bachelor of Arts in English, thinking she would like to be a playwright. She was, of course, involved in theater. As she says, lots of theater. More importantly, it was at Bridgewater that she learned that making costumes could be a career. After Bridgewater, she went to Rhode Island College to work for 2 years as the assistant to the costume designer. She then spent 2 years with the Nickerson Theater in Norwell, doing wardrobe and designing costumes. During these years, she maintained her ties with Rockland. She was on the library board of trustees for 6 years. It was at Nickerson Theater that she made her contact that led her to the Huntington Theater Company in Boston. Since 1989, the Huntington Theater has been her artistic home. In 1991, she was promoted to the position of custom craft artisan at Huntington. As a costume crafts artisan, she worked with costume designers to help bring to completion the costume designs for each theatrical production. She makes the footwear, accessories, armor, body padding, distresses the leather, and does all the work for all the costumes. Denise is also an accomplished and well-known milliner. She is the proprietor of Winged Heart Millinery, where she makes her custom hats. She does freelance millinery work and crafts for clients such as Manhattan Theater Club, Disney Cruise Lines, the Big Apple Circus, the American Repertory Theater, and the Glimmering Glass Opera, to name a few. Last year, she made hats for the play Finding Neverland. She also made a full suit of body padding for Nick Offerman in the play, a Confederacy of Dunkers. Thank you. In 2016, Denise completed her Master's in Fine Arts in Theatrical Costume Production and Technology. Along the way, Denise has developed her own teaching business, offering lessons and workshops in millinery, dyeing, theatrical armor making, and other costume crafts. She teaches classes in the Boston area and also across the country. She is a lecturer at Boston University in the School of Theater, and she serves as a mentor for the costumers. Denise has truly taken her passion for theater, which began years before at Rockland High School, and combined it with her artistic talents to establish a fulfilling career. Denise Wallace Spriggs, for all your accomplishments, past, present, and future, we are proud and honored to induct you into the Rockland High School Academic Hall of Fame.
Nice big font, I can read it, so that's good. I think I'm gonna, there we go. I'm a shorty too. You'll have to readjust, Kathy, sorry. Wow, there's a lot of people here. So hi, I'm Denise, and I do theater. I want to thank the committee for choosing me today for this. I'm going to echo Robin, this very humbling honor to be chosen alongside my best buddy and partner in crime since junior high is even better. So Robin and I have known each other a very long time and gotten into a lot of trouble, I think. I want to thank my family for being here today, the ones who can be here, my sister Cheryl and my brother Kevin, who are both graduates of Rockland High, and my gorgeous husband, who is also here today, Tom. I want to also thank my family that can't be here, and that's my mom and dad. My mom, who gave me the gift of perseverance and the impetus to always do things as well as you can. She did not suffer any kind of slacking. You had to do it right if you were going to do it at all. And my dad, who basically gave me the gift of being able to try everything and anything, and you might be good at it. He said, if you don't try, you don't know if you're going to be good at it. When they asked me to speak to students today, I thought, what do they want to hear from me? I don't know, but I think I'm going to talk to you about the two things that I think about a lot. One, the myth of the self-made person, and I'm also here to give you permission to make a lot of mistakes. I want to start by telling you the story of how we came to Rockland. When I was born, we lived in Boston, and we had a tiny apartment in Dorchester on Dakota Street. Then my brother was born and my sister was born, and that apartment was way too cramped. It just happened that my mom bought a raffle ticket from the church raffle, and we won $2,000. $2,000 in 1971 was enough to put as a down payment on a house. Think about that for a minute. So my father dressed us up. So really, the raffle was for either a boat, it had a motor, or $2,000. And my father dressed us all up in our best Sunday outfits, and we marched up to the church rectory and St. Boniface, I think. And my father said, "I'm here for the $2,000. And they said, "Oh, well, don't you want the boat? It has a motor." And my father's like, "I live in public housing. Where am I gonna put a boat?" Because we lived in public housing for veterans, and at that time, most public housing was for veterans and their families. And so it was the community that was supporting my dad and his family for the service that he did for the country. So that idea of the self-made person, you really need the community to help you to survive and to excel. So we took our $2,000, wrestled it away from the church, and came to Rockland and bought a house. And so for my family, Rockland represented independence. And without it, we might still be in public housing if we hadn't won that $2,000. Although my dad was a scrapper, so, you never know. Going off topic. So we came to Rockland. My father was able to, with my mom, build a business, Wallace & Wallace Wood Carvers, where they made hand-carved wooden signs, along with my two brothers and sometimes my sister. Somehow I was just secretarial in that whole situation. But Rockland also represented community to us. My father served in the Rockland Lions Club, and through that we all learned that you needed to take a portion of your life and dedicate it to the community that is supporting you. It's a circle. So I was fortunate enough to be able to serve on the board of library trustees for 6 years and really understand town politics. If you want entertainment, go to a town meeting. There's nothing like it. So the other thing that Rockland represented for us was educational opportunity. The school system from where we came was not that great, and when we came here, it was kind of amazing in comparison. And so I was able to try all kinds of things, and it's when I finally got to Rockland High, that was where I found my people, theater people. I got any theater people in the house? 2. All right, shout out to the theater people. So through Bob Niffen, who's here with us today, it was an amazing surprise to me. Thank you for inviting him. And yes, give him a big shout out. And Bob Dolan, they provided this atmosphere where we could try things and get on stage and maybe sometimes be backstage and be part of a community that actually made group art. That is something to be a part of. It's what I lived for, and everything else at high school was really just a way to get to the play at the end of the day or the rehearsal at the end of the day. I'll tell you this one story. I wanted to audition for A Good Man, Charlie Brown, but I was doing really crappily in math. My folks said, no audition if you're going to be pulling C's in math. So I turned to Joe Dion, who was teaching math at the time, who was not even my math teacher, but I knew that he was the guy who was going to get me to wrap my head around advanced math. And I worked really hard with him, and he gave me time out of his day after school, not being paid for it, sat with me to help me figure out math. And I learned that I could actually do math. And I had told myself that I couldn't, but I really could. And so I raised that grade, and I was able to audition for the part. I did not get the part. I was so upset. But you know, really when you think about it, I had to think about it long and hard. I had the opportunity. I didn't win. You don't always win. But I had the opportunity to audition. And I was, my parents held my feet to the fire, and I was able to audition, and I got that part as publicity director. I was not as good as Robin would have been, but we had good publicity for that play, and I was part of it, and that's what matters. So opportunity isn't always certainty, but you have to try. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you're the supporting role. Ultimately, the support team became what I do for a career. A theater life trains you to work in a team. You solve problems together, and you create that group art. We think of the celebrities and the stars and everyone that we know, and we see them on the stage or on the screen, but behind them are teams of people who are working really hard to make them all look good and to make everything go smoothly. So we support each other. I first learned about that teamwork here at Rockland High School, and with my family and my theater family. So it's kind of a microcosm for the whole world. So the other thing I'd like to talk about is making big mistakes. You don't always get things right the first time, but if you don't give it a shot, you don't know if you're going to be good at it, and you don't know if you're going to learn anything. If you make enough mistakes, and good mistakes, not crummy mistakes that everybody else makes, don't make those mistakes. Make your own mistakes and learn from them. And then you pile them up and stand on top of them, and you have all this experience to stand on, and you're at a higher level, and you can look out and see farther and make even better mistakes. Who knows who Buckminster Fuller is? Science, yeah. So Buckminster Fuller he was an inventor and an architect and a systems theorist. And my husband is a big Fuller scholar. But Fuller once said something that I have taken as my personal theory of teaching when I work with my students. And he said, if I were to have a school, I would give them mediocre grades to the students who gave me the right answers all of the time for being very good parrots. I'd give the best grades to the ones who make mistakes and then come and tell me about them and tell me what they learned from them. So something to think about. I've taken that as my personal theory of teaching, and when I work with my students at Boston University and at other places, I've been teaching there about 25 years now, I have developed a game that we call the Big Mistake Game, and so whoever makes the biggest mistake of the week gets to raise their hand and tell us about it, and then everyone votes on who wins the point, the extra point for the week. People throw down hard for that extra point. So it makes people feel free to try things and maybe screw up. All right, I lost my place. So my dad used to always say, if you're gonna make a mistake, make a big one. And I'm here by no one's authority but my own to give all you young, fresh, beautiful people the permission to make some good mistakes. And don't make the ones your parents made, make your own. learn from them, climb on top of them, look to the next level. It's the only way you can keep on learning. Thank you very much.
Going to give it a shot. Charles Tetzlaff graduated from Rockland High School in 1991 and is a member of the National Honor Society. Charles earned an academic letter and was highly involved in sports, academic, and leadership activities. As a piano, saxophone, and baritone sax player, he was a 4-year member of the RHS Band and Jazz Ensemble, a 3-year participant in SEMSPA, the District and All-State Music Festival, the North American Music Festival, the South Shore Conservatory and the Summer Wind Ensemble, and the United States Youth Wind Ensemble European Tour. Charles' senior superlative was most likely to appear on Jeopardy! With his musical background, and considering the close relationship between music, math, and science, Charles attended Tufts University, where he double majored. He received a Bachelor of Arts degree in music and a Bachelor's of Science degree in chemistry. He then continued his studies in Germany and earned a PhD in organic chemistry from Tufts University. Originally a pre-med student, Charles was advised to get into research where he could make a direct impact on the future of medicine. As a scientist, Charles' research focuses on nucleic acids, perhaps better known as DNA and RNA. For all of us who are not scientists, nucleic acids, simply put, are chains of repeating nucleotides essential for all known life. I'm not so sure how simply put that was. I've practiced that one all day. But Charles' investigations into this dynamic field of biochemistry have ranged greatly from atomic level synthesis to novel new compounds to the genetic level in population studies. Over the past 12 years, Charles has applied his skills in San Diego, California, first at Sequinum, and then moving on to Illumina. Illumina is an industry leader and is one of the top 50 smartest companies, according to the MIT Technology Review. Both companies specialize in genetic research and applications. For 8 years, as a senior scientist at Illumina, Charles has provided customers-facing support for the sequencing applications and hardware of Illumina, including software, hardware, and chemistry on the platform. The company has equipment which has the ability to single out certain genes from DNA, which are useful both in diagnosis of diseases and also in forensic investigations. The company works in cooperation with the San Diego Police Department. In 2012, Charles was invited to be in the President's Elite Club, which honors the top 0.1% of the company's contributors. Illumina's corporate values mesh very well with Charles, helping him with his continued success there. Charles enjoys cooking, photography, and hiking. Charles' amazing work as a scientist and his dedication to better the well-being of mankind is a tribute to him as a person and an example for all who follow him in the field of science. Charles Tetzlaff, for all your accomplishments, past, present, and future, we are proud and honored to induct you into the Rockland High School Academic Hall of Fame.
Quite a mouthful usually talking in science. I'll try and keep it a little bit more down tonight. Firstly, I'd like to thank the Academic Hall of Fame Committee for allowing me to even be here tonight, especially Kathy Paulding and Janet Can. I'm also so pleased to be inducted into the Academic Hall of Fame for Rockland High School, my alma mater. Receiving this award is such an amazing honor. I still remember sitting where you all are right now, some 26 years ago, seeing a Hall of Fame inductee, receiving awards myself, and to be back here again is just, it's very, very unique and kind of very pleasant to have. Where I am today would not have been possible without the foundation of my education. And that foundation was forged right here at Rockland High School, where I found my love of music and chemistry with Bob Niffen, Steve Bell, and also Alan Quist. Everything started right here for me, where you all are right now. From here, I moved onwards to Tufts University for both my undergraduate degrees in music and chemistry, as well as my graduate degrees in organic chemistry, where I studied with Professor Clemens Richet, working with DNA, RNA, and proteins. This included a semester abroad in Germany because my advisor didn't want to take tenure at Tufts, and so he took me over to the University of Constance. Following that, I came back to the States and got a postdoctoral position at Brown University with Professor David Kane. He continued to broaden my knowledge in biochemistry, kind of leaving me out of the chemical and into the biochemical. After my postdoc is where I entered into industry, where I currently work as a scientist in the field of biotechnologies at Illumina in California, where I now live. I'm focused currently on next-generation sequencing for both medical and research applications. This is a complex and exciting field which my education had prepared me for. This is also where I finally understood one of my commencement speakers: never stop learning. We always need to keep learning and growing. This doesn't end with a diploma or a degree. These are just things that lay the foundation in which we build our lives and our world upon. Especially in the world today, which keeps changing and moving faster, keeping up to date with your field in the world is more important than ever. To this day, I am still teaching myself new skills that can better address the challenges that are presented to me daily in my profession. The key skills you have learned here are preparing you for what comes next, but they are not everything you will need. High school is an important milestone in your journey, but the journey doesn't end here. It has shown you how to learn, how to think critically, how to apply yourself, and how to achieve goals. This is crucial as you move forward in your lives. Always keep learning new skills and things to help you with your journey through life. You all being here tonight is a great start showing us some of your potential. Keep growing and developing to meet the needs of your life and future, because you are the future, as corny as that may sound. It is really true. And your full potential is not yet reached. So keep learning and keep growing, because this world will become yours. You will need to correct the errors of the past, which you inherit, deal with the challenges of the present, which as they will appear, and pave a path to the future. You're already on this path. Use the gifts your education has given you to make it great. In closing, I would like to thank two of the most important people in my life, my mom and dad. They have always been there for me. They are both here tonight, along with my aunt. They encouraged me in high school. They supported me through college, and continue to provide me with guidance and love to this day. Without them, I would not be receiving this honor here tonight. In that, I will close saying thank you all again, and may our futures be prosperous and bright.